Yo, what's up? For people that are actually gonna watch this video, today I wanted to talk about something that I'm surprised nobody else is talking about. And it's the independence referendum in New Caledonia that's happening in just 5 days. I think this is the first independence referendum of any country since South Sudan's in January 2011, and then they became independent a few months later. But let's talk about the real question. Will they vote yes or will they vote no? This one, there's almost no speculation. It is almost certain that New Caledonia will vote no. That's the end of the video. I'll see you guys next week. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so there's a lot more to explain about it. I remember this one time when I was like 10 or 11 that I finally got a globe and I thought it was really cool. So I spun it around and wherever I put my finger I wanted to travel to. And my finger landed on New Caledonia and I'm like, huh, what's that country? And then I learned a few years later that it's not a country. And it doesn't look like it'll be one for a long time. So to put it simply, New Caledonia is a colony, overseas region of France. I'm gonna give you guys some history behind why New Caledonia is having an independence referendum, but I'm not gonna make it boring and just tell the story. I'm gonna act it out for you guys this time. So before anybody overseas region to New Caledonia, here's what happened. This island looks like Scotland. Isn't that cool? Well, too bad, because this is our island now. This may seem kind of Anglo-centric, if that's even a word, but every time I act something out, it will be exclusively in English, no matter the country. Alright, nice. Hey, learn French or else I hate you. I know French. I'm just using English because it makes things more simple. Like, I can speak pretty good French. Here, let me try. Coup d'etat, Napoleon, French Revolution, baguette, guillotine, Maginot Line, colonize Africa, surrender. That was some pretty good French, at least I would say. Anyway, back to New Caledonia. The French claimed the island in the late 19th century, and most colonizers all around the world found problems with this, but the indigenous people, they weren't really chill with that. You see, when the French were like, hey, this is our land now, pretty cool because nobody lives here, right? Excuse me, what the f? So basically for the next 100 years, the French fought with the indigenous people. Sounds kind of familiar because it happened in like every other country. In the 1980s, tensions started heating up again, and then there was a hostage crisis in 1988, and after like 100 years of tensions between the French and the indigenous people on the island, they finally decided it was time for something else. The indigenous people on the island kept calling for a vote, but then in 1998, France was like, hey, how about we sign something that pushes back the vote 2 decades? And that's exactly what they did. They signed the Noumea Accord. I'm probably butchering that pronunciation because it has an accent mark somewhere on it, but it's named after the capital of New Caledonia. They signed that accord in 1998, which called for an independence referendum no later than November 4th, 2018. So we are kind of witnessing history because after 140 years of French oppression, they finally get a chance to vote. I'm just gonna come out and say that I support independence for New Caledonia. I don't think there's any place for colonies in the 21st century, and you can call it whatever you want, but it's a colony. Emmanuel Macron disagrees though. Macron is all like, oh my god, France would literally never be the same without New Caledonia, an island with just over 250,000 people 10,000 miles away. There's a strange criteria for the referendum too, which is worth mentioning because it restricts a lot of people from voting. And this is pretty much the last hope of getting a yes vote. Every single poll that you can look up has shown a strong no vote. I think the lowest one was like 65% the last time I checked. The lowest outcome possibility was a 65% chance no. But in order to vote, you have to have lived on the island since 1994 or be indigenous. For some strange reason, it's included in the Noumea Accord that there can be more independence referendums after this one, 2 more to be exact, if the Congress calls for them. I don't see why these referenda would actually happen because since this is going to be probably a stunning no vote, there's going to be no need for them. Nobody in the Congress will call for them. But if they did happen, they would be in 2020 and 2022. Wouldn't that get annoying? It's basically like, hey, do you guys want independence? No. Alright, cool. So do you guys want independence? We already said no. Alright, I think I got it, but one more time. Do you guys want independence? Yeah, it's still gonna be a no for me, dog. Emmanuel Macron did visit the island a few months ago to prepare, and Edouard Philippe Pepe, he'll be that's the Prime Minister of France, he'll be visiting the islands on Monday to talk with the leaders of New Caledonia about the results. This isn't about whether the French leaders are gonna let New Caledonia become independent, it's whether they're gonna vote yes or no, and it's likely a no, as I've mentioned several times. Even if this referendum crashes and burns and New Caledonia overwhelmingly votes no, there's still 2 more that are both going on in Oceania, and they're both happening hopefully by the end of next year, and those are way more likely to pass. There's one happening in Bougainville that's supposed to be in June of next year, but probably won't happen because of corruption. That's an autonomous region in Papua New Guinea, and that is very likely to vote yes and pass. So if they get everything together, then there could be a new independent country in 2019. But even earlier than that, one of the Federated States of Micronesia, Chuuk State, is voting in March on whether they want to become independent, and that's also really likely to pass, even though almost all of the leaders of Micronesia are really opposed to it. Anyway, I'll see you guys next Tuesday with my 1-year anniversary special. And hey, maybe this video will attract a 5th viewer to my channel.